back to 10-Minute Prophecy, where we go through the prophecies of Daniel and Revelation verse by verse in bite-sized chunks. Thank you for joining us again. We hope that this journey through Bible prophecy has been enlightening, whether you are new to prophecy or have studied prophecy in the past. As always, if you haven't seen the previous presentations, please watch them as each prophecy builds on each other. The link to our playlist is down in the description below. You will also find the video on the non-denominational Protestant biblical prophetic interpretation method that has proven itself over and over again in world events, both past, present, and can be relied upon to understand the future. See the link for the presentation in the description below. Here, we will discuss 666 and the identification of this number. Verse 18 states, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. The Bible identifies 666 as the number of the beast, but which beast is it referring to? When we examine the context of Revelation 13 and the discussion surrounding the mark of the beast, it becomes clear that the prophecy points to the first beast described in that chapter. Some preterists argue that this refers to Emperor Nero, but that interpretation doesn't hold up when we consider the full context. The first beast is the one that the lamb-like beast later creates an image of and brings back to life. Long before the Protestant Reformation, early Church Father Irenaeus affirmed that the correct number is 666, not 616. He connected this number to the papal power, identifying it with the name Latinus, meaning Latin kingdom, a fitting title for the papacy. As we'll see, Scripture itself gives even more direct evidence for this interpretation. The number of his name. Now that we have established the fact that the number of his name refers to the first beast in Revelation 13, the papacy, we can now identify the number of his name. Now, who in the papacy has a significant name? It would be the Pope. He is the head of this system of religion to which everyone recognizes his authority. Therefore, the Bible is clearly identifying the power which the United States is going to revive and give civil authority to. The universally recognized name used by the Pope is Vicarius Filii Dei, which means representative of the Son of God. If you take the letters from this Latin title that also have numerical values, as used in Roman numerals, the total comes to exactly 666. So let's look at each Latin letter. V equals 5, I equals 1, C equals 100, A and R aren't numerals, I equals 1, U, which was historically the same as V, equals 5, S and F aren't numerals, I equals 1, L equals 50, I equals 1, I equals 1, D equals 500, E isn't a numeral, I equals 1. Adding all the numeral values gives us 666. Here we truly see the number of a man, the man of sin. It's interesting, maybe even providential, that he would choose a title that reveals the blasphemous nature of the beast and then have it written on his mitre, his ceremonial headpiece, almost as if to mark himself with the number 666. All popes claim the title Vicar of Christ, and the Latin phrase Vicarius Filii Dei, which means Vicar of the Son of God, adds up to the number 666 in Roman numerals. Finally, what is 666? Why does the Bible specifically use this number? We will have to look back in history, for 666 is an ancient number, and the Bible uses it to identify the pagan system of worship with the anti-Christian power of today. The origin of 666 actually comes from ancient Babylonian sun worship. They believed that the sun, who they considered a god, passed through 12 houses, 6 in the day and 6 at night, and each house had 36 rooms. When you added each room together, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 36, this equaled 666. The origin of the number 666 traces back to ancient Babylonian sun worship. The Babylonians believed the sun was a god, the source of all life. During the time of Israel, surrounding nations also worshipped the sun, particularly those who followed Baal. As history progressed, sun worship continued through every major world empire, eventually reaching Rome. In Babylon, sun worship was foundational. In Medo-Persia, Zoroastrianism honored the sun. In Greece, the sun god Helios, closely linked with Apollo, was revered. In Rome, the people worshipped Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun. All these pagan empires observed Sunday as the day of sun worship. Does Papal Rome also honor Sunday? Yes. As we've seen, the Pope has claimed the authority to change the biblical Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. This marks a direct continuation of the ancient chain of pagan sun worship, and according to prophecy, even the Protestant United States will follow suit, enforcing a national Sunday law, eventually under threat of death. This is why prophecy repeatedly identifies the papacy as the anti-Christian religious system. The number 1260, appearing in various forms across prophecy from times, and half a time to 42 months, represents the exact length of the papal reign, 1260 years. These prophetic timelines not only point to the papacy's historical influence, but also to the times in which we now live. To summarize, the chain of sun worship remains unbroken, from ancient Babylon to Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, Papal Rome, and the United States. Every major world power has promoted Sunday as a day of worship, first in its openly pagan form and now disguised as Christian tradition. This shift is based on false claims by man, either that God's law can be changed or that Sunday honors Christ's resurrection. Whether through the papacy or Protestant churches, the result is the same, continuing the legacy of sun worship under a different name. That's why in Revelation 12, God identifies the defining characteristics of his true church as it emerges from the wilderness, where it had been protected during the period of papal persecution. This church rises after 1798 and is described as keeping God's commandments and possessing the gift of prophecy. These are the identifying marks of his true church. Keeping God's commandments include the observance of the seventh-day Sabbath, Saturday, the true biblical day of rest. Were there Christians who kept the Sabbath during the papal reign? Yes. Groups such as the Waldenses, Nestorians, Abyssinian Church, early Celtic Christians, and the Zekla Sabbatarians preserved the Sabbath, often at great risk. Many fled into remote regions, the wilderness, or lived in areas beyond the reach of papal control. In these places, God's truth and church was preserved through centuries of darkness and persecution, as was prophesied would happen in Revelation 12. Then, once papal persecution was ended in 1798, the prophecy is clear that God's church would emerge, and the two identifying characteristics are that they would keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus, which in Revelation 19 verse 10 states, "It is the spirit of prophecy." If you find the church which keeps the commandments of God and has the gift of prophecy, you will find the direct legacy of God's people from the apostles till now. This is how Revelation 13 ends, with God's people facing the combined powers of the world, threatened with death and exclusion from society simply for staying faithful to the truth. At that time, spiritualism will reach its peak, performing great signs and wonders, deceiving almost everyone except the elect, see Matthew 24:24 and 2 Thessalonians 2:8-12. This will be the hour of trial spoken of in Revelation 3:10, the final test for everyone on earth. But this great conflict between Christ and Satan has a clear outcome. The first 5 verses of the next chapter, which really belong with this one, complete the prophetic picture, revealing the victory and glory of those who stand for truth. This concludes our time today. Thank you for joining us. Please join us next time when we start Revelation 14. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and don't forget to like and subscribe. We look forward to seeing you again soon.